An example that could help understand this is when someone says, "I only get involved with the wrong women. I always end up being cheated on, abandoned, used by gold diggers." What happens is that instead of labeling these women as wrong, it's important to look at what these experiences might be revealing about yourself. Rather than blaming them, think about what you can learn from these relationships. Perhaps these experiences serve as a mirror, showing aspects of your own life and personality that you hadn't noticed before. What can you learn from this? Or are you just going to keep crying? Saying, "I'll never get involved with women again," is just putting up a barrier. But wait, isn't it the environment you were frequenting that was problematic? Maybe it's not worth looking for partners there. Or perhaps it's more complex, like that woman who cheated on her husband with you, and you wanted something more serious. It's important to realize that by pointing out these issues, you may face heavy criticism, but confronting these situations head-on can lead to significant personal growth. If a woman was cheating in the past, it's complicated to decide whether or not to engage in a relationship with her now. Although people can change, it's risky to expect her to change just because of you. It's not wise to dwell on her past, but it's also not prudent to rely solely on the possibility of change. It's better to assess the situation carefully and consider whether it's a choice worth making, taking into account both the past and the possibilities for change. One of the things I often tell guys is to avoid getting involved with women who use you as a shoulder to cry on. This means they're in a relationship, but confide in you about their boyfriend's shortcomings, and you end up feeling sorry for them. This is problematic because it indicates their relationship may be toxic. Another situation to steer clear of is when a woman cheats on her current partner with you. I understand your point of view, but even if you might seem like a better option than her partner, it's important to remember that she made a commitment to him. Even if he's inadequate, if she values fidelity and honor, the minimum expected behavior would be to end the relationship before pursuing something with you, rather than deceiving him to be with you. We call this emotional tampon. It's when a guy is there, available, while the girl is venting about how her boyfriend is toxic, abusive, or distant, and she's worried if she's being cheated on. He listens, gives advice, offers his time and attention, does everything for her. But the next day, she goes back to the same wrong guy. Sometimes, she even goes back to an ex who used to hurt her. Why does this guy do that? It's because the guy believes that if he provides emotional support to her, if he comforts her, he thinks that he'll be better than the other guy. Because what's the criticism that women usually make to these guys who are ahead? Because he doesn't listen to me, because he's too cold, because he's too distant. So, what does the guy do? He thinks, if I offer this emotional support to her, if I'm this nice guy who listens, supports, talks, and offers support, she will like me. Men tend to think that toxic guys are the majority, and that they are the exception, the nice and caring guy who is hard to find. They believe he is the exception, when in fact, he is the common one. In reality, the exception is the toxic guy. Why do women like or enjoy these guys? There are two things here. One is the guy who's too nice but is also toxic. He's just not overt about it. He's a manipulator, you see. And the other guy is also toxic, also a jerk, and also gets it. But one doesn't exclude the other, and both have their shadow sides acting, being manipulative in one way or another. Why do women like those guys? The player, the bad boy, the tattooed guy with a criminal look. It's like women who are attracted to trouble. It's the savior syndrome, right? You see, I always try to give an explanation that I understand the origin of things. Maybe you won't be satisfied with that because I'm not bashing women. I believe that a guy who's a dog isn't worth wasting a single second of your time. It's the savior syndrome because some women have an emotional addiction to adventure, to the danger that gives them adrenaline. They feel an instinct of security next to a guy with a gun on his waist, up in the hill, you know, that kind of thing. Unconsciously, what this guy is providing for her is a blend of security and adventure, a dose of adrenaline. He is dominant to her, but what's the problem with that? I often tell guys, if you know there are unpleasant guys out there with very low moral values who aren't good for society, just picking up women, doing that, why are you modeling that for your life? How can you convey the same feeling, but differently? Because security and adventure are two values there, two sensations. Why don't you approach this differently, with moral and cultural values inserted? He's dominant towards her, but what's the issue with that? I tell guys, if you know there's a shady guy out there with very low moral values who isn't good for society, just picking up women, doing that, why are you modeling your life after that? How can you convey the same thing, but in a different way? Because there's a value there. Security and adventure are two values there, two sensations. Why don't you approach this differently, with moral and cultural values incorporated? The woman who likes thugs, it's because she doesn't have those values. So she doesn't even come close, dear. Don't you think it's because women are also attracted to evil? Why do you think they're attracted to evil? Away, women have a profane side, of course, that shadow side you mentioned. They seek out things that can, precisely along with this emotional aspect, provide a sense of domination. So who's the most powerful guy? It's not the one who confronts even the system, the guy who faces the police. It's not the one who, wherever he is, commands respect in the community. He exudes power with that. So, the woman wants power greater than just domination. She wants to dominate the most powerful guy there is, so she seeks to dominate him in a different way. She does this by being excellent in bed, saying things like, "You're the best there is," and promising eternal love, even if he gets arrested, saying she'll wait for him outside. She makes all these promises and keeps insisting on them. It is believed that you only understand what is good when you know what is bad. There is a belief that you have to go through crap to be able to know what is good. It doesn't have to be like that. You can know what is good without going through the bad. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Leave a like if you found it helpful and share with your friends. Thank you for the support, and see you in the next video.